I'm bored. I'm the chairman of the board. Do 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 do. New project. The board. Board stream. What the frig is going on with this bloody eagle? What is it about? New schematic. Where does that live? Oh yeah, it's in the right place though. Hey James, I'm bored. I'm so bored I decided I might just do to design something. I don't know what though. What should we do? How about Commodore 64? Kevin, I'm always talking to myself on Discord. I'm the only person who wants to talk to me. What's this? What are they doing with an Arduino? Oh, Dave, what's Dave up to? Strafe, mate! Look at the bloody crap! All that hot snot! And then he gets out his knife. I might have to do my own take on that. Now get out my ruler! Let's open that mail. Hey. Oh, that's quite sharp, actually. It's Marabone. Marabone steel rule. Oops. Right, what's this guy doing? Flooded. As in water flooded. So what are they doing? What are they doing? How to make a Commodore 64 MIDI interface. Okay. We can do this. An Arduino board or compatible. Hey, Retro Man Cave. Neil. Neil. Do you know anybody who wants a Commodore 64 MIDI interface? Because I might just design the PCB if somebody is interested. Oh, they've got actually the design. Although that doesn't seem... Okay, so that's just part of the MIDI interface. They actually just got... We could just download this probably. It looks like they've done it in Eagle, but I don't think we'll learn anything. Do 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 do. Means we need the spec of the Commodore 64 bloody user port. This is like work. Hello. Verdi. Win some hacks. Anybody, what is the Commodore? Can someone get me a mouse part number for a Commodore 64 user port? 64 user port edge connector. 5-volt TTL. We'll just fill it full of 5-volt TTL. The whole office underwater. Bloody hell. Was that a leak, Kevin? It's got to be, right? Oh. What is the name, though, of that edge connector? It's just like, it's a part, but what is it called? Adding. Edge connector. Okay, well, there's plenty here. Right, let's see how many pins it is at least. So it looks like it's 24 pin. Flash Hailstorm. Yes, sir, James, a user port. 24 pin. Well, we have a 26 way. To be honest with you, they don't look right anyway. Definitely not a PCP, definitely on edge connector. Okay, it looks like we're going to have to do a little bit of digging. Let's just see if someone's got one. Edge connector. CBM hackers. There we go. And there's a GitHub. Download it. I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. I'm just gonna copy that into my general library space, and I'm gonna apply it. Gosh, this is the start though. If we have this, we can just do any Commodore project. Oh, hello. I hear a voice. Is that Mr. Dalton? How are you this evening? While the wives are away, the cats will be. I've been in my sports equipment all day because I've been meaning to go on my 5K run and I still haven't because I'm just not not in the mood, and that's not the right attitude. I'm procrastinating. I've so much so that I'm here now playing with this instead of going and doing it. But this is kind of productive in its own right, isn't it? Productive in its own right. So I'm trying to see if I can do something with this Commodore 64 project and see if we can make PCB to go with this guy's MIDI interface that they've designed for no good reason. Floating Fat Man's in the house. Hey, Floating Fat Man. How you doing? We haven't seen you for a while. Commodore library. So that's our 24-pin edge connector. So as easy as that. Oh, hang on. What? Where did it go? Commodore 24-pin edge. Right. Are you a Commodore 64 fan, Andrew? I always think you're not really a retro fan, are you? Yeah, at that time, that's when I had a friend who had a Commodore 64, but I had the BBC Micro, so you know, you don't have any Bond. There, that's it. You got it. Bond. Oh, I've just noticed my weird full screen thing isn't quite right. There we go. I've embiggened it for the boys and girls at home. What did you think of that Gauntlet game? That was good, wasn't it?
It wasn't bad at all. I thought for £1, it was pretty good.
I was trying to think the other day, what was the worst game that I've ever bought that I've spent money on? And I think though probably Elite Dangerous again. Not worse. It's not like a bad game, but bad for me because I just wouldn't put the time into it.
It's one of them games you got to invest in, and if you can't, you're not going to get anything out of it.
There we go. Let's get that. I'm not sure if I want a horizontal or a vertical orientation. I sort of glanced at that article about someone being in trouble for misgendering a chess piece.
What?
Exactly, as I thought I'm not going to read something that'll annoy me. So I vegged out on Captain Disillusion for a bit.
Yeah.
I do like these YouTube channels that have been going for like 10 years. There's just so much content.
Yeah, he's a great channel, Captain Disillusionment.
I think that his effects were always quite good, but they're like movie quality now.
Yeah.
So while I'm doing boys and girls at home, I'm just signaling up our edge connector because this is like the main work. Once this is done, you can go ahead and just start putting stuff together. But this will be the basis for so many potential Commodore 64 projects it's worth doing. And I've been meaning for a long time to interface some electronics to a Commodore 64, so this is a good time to do it. So do we need all 24 pins? Well, looking at this, it looks like they're just connecting everything to the user port. So I'm guessing the user port must be the pins A to N potentially. But I'm going to label them up for future use. So what does a Mr. Dalton do when his good lady is not in the house?
Usual stuff, just
Usual stuff.
yeah, just work a bit later, just mess around on the computer. That's about it, really.
Hang on.
I'm not an exciting person.
You're not an exciting person.
I don't think so.
There's no G on a Commodore 64 user port. Yeah, I tend to actually, if there's nobody home, if my wife or my children aren't home, I tend to degenerate into a caveman-like state.
Well, I'm quite used to being at home, because remember, I work from home on my own most of the time.
Yes, well, I do quite a lot of the time as well, and I spend that time in a sort of caveman state.
Yeah.
It's amazing though. Today is a day that went quick though. I don't know if you found
that. Ish, but I was waiting for an Amazon parcel that came at 4:30. So
Winsome Hap says you're not going to admit to anything, Mr. Dalton.
My life is shockingly boring. Honestly,
shockingly boring.
Honestly, it's not. There's very little for me to be mischief for me to be getting up to.
Arduino Eagle Library. So I'm almost tempted though, because we're going to put down probably just an Arduino bullshit. But there are Node MCU Arduino compatible boards. Hang on a minute. Get out of it. Right, here we go. All right then, guys. I've got here a brand new board. Oh, I need no EV blog type knife. It's like impenetrable anti-static. Right.
So yeah, this is my posh headphones, my expensive mic, so it's very quite clear.
It is rather clear. It's beautifully clear.
Yeah, I've got my new headset I bought for work. I might switch over to that and see what you guys think of it.
I tell you what, I'm loving this crazy. What's it called? I've got this Plantronics.
Yeah.
Blackwire thingy with it.
That's what my normal wired is a Plantronics Blackwire, but I just got a new one. Let me switch over.
Do you know the trick is on the Plantronics Blackwire that makes them amazing, boys and girls? It has this thing, which is actually a USB sound card. And you're like, well, USB sound cards, we've all got those. I mean, I've got even another one, just shitty ones. But the thing that this does, it does, Andrew, why you have good offices that use these are better. It actually,
it's got the controls.
But it has a sideband in it, so you can hear your own voice back in your ear, so you don't start shouting really loudly. You get an office and everyone's shouting loudly into their Skypes. Yeah. It stops you doing that. And you can unplug it.
Well, yeah, one thing you can do is you can actually pull the headphone away from the sound card part.
That's right, it just pops out just like that.
Yep.
And then back again.
Right, let me...
Right, I'm going to show the boys and girls. Hopefully, this is the new board. There you go. Right, so that is a board based on an ESP12, but it's an Arduino compatible core on there. But of course, you've got the ESP12, so you've got the micro USB on it as well. So I think if you're going to do it, if we're going to do a design, we should just consider this as an option because you've got a lot more power for your future Commodore 64 products. I will just read out real quick though what the pinouts are. So you have the Arduino ground, Arduino 5 volts. Yes, I see a 5 volts here. And then there's how many analogs? 0 to 9. Oh, I'm not sure. GPIO. Yeah, I'm not sure it's giving us all the analogs we need, so maybe that's just not usable.
There we go. How does that one sound?
You sound a little bit muffled.
Oh, any better?
It's very muffled, isn't it? I don't know if the again boys and
like,
girls at home can hear. I'll put your.
like
I'm going to increase your loudness so that everybody can hear you.
Okay. Let me. I can increase the settings anyway. It's just Discord automatic voice.
You sound
settings.
like you've got your head under a duvet, which you may well have.
Oh, that's interesting. Hang on.
CAD library for Arduino Mini and Nano. And new menu pros give you part places you can solder in place. Blah blah blah.
Mm.
What's the Arduino Mini? Let me just check what that is. Arduino Mini pinout.
There we go. Is that any better?
Not really. I don't know. Don't think
Oh,
so.
dear me. I'll have to sort this headset out. I don't think I've got the drivers set right for it. So
You were very low on the old treble. So I think guys in the stream that although I'd really like to use this, I'm quite concerned. It just does not have, although it has an Arduino core on it, so you can use all the standard programming tools. It doesn't have the same GPIO, and we're not going to get away with that. Well, we might get away with it because I don't think the MIDI interface is using actually any of the analog stuff. But life's too short, isn't it?
There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. That's fine.
That's back on my other microphone and everything, so I'll have to sort this new headset out.
So Custado's in the house, Andrew, as well. Whoop whoop. We've seen a lot of Custado recently.
Ah.
I think Custado's going to come to Blackpool and give me an Atari ST monitor because there's so many in the shops near him. So let's see. We need analog 0 to analog 9 on this port. Analog 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, there's no analog 9 on those boards. I'm showing my ignorance on these Arduinos. I don't use the Arduino, so I don't know all the pinouts off by heart. Am I losing my mind here? Look, this is only got an analog 0 to 5. So that's the Uno. Micro. Seems to be a lot of these bloody things. RTFM. Minimum parts list. Arduino board or compatible device RBBB. Oh, you idiot. Look, it's analog 0 to 5 and then digital 6 to 9. Whatever that means. So, okay, maybe we've got that then. So let's check out the Arduino Mini again. There's a lot of this going on when you're designing stuff. Right. So we're looking for analog 0 to 5, digital 6 to 9. Analog 0 to 5. Yes, we have that. Digital 6 to 9. Sod it. Spark Fun. Come on, they'll have a good Arduino library. Boards. Look for the library called Spark Fun Boards. There we go. And then download it. €5, Custado. That would be amazing. You can't beat a monitor for €5. I think no matter what the monitor, I would probably buy it for €5, even if I didn't have the computer for it. Come on. Does anybody notice just Google seems to be getting slower and slower now? I want this. I want it. Look at that. Look at that. It's just crawling away. Where's download?
So apparently there's some kind of big announcement.
Oh, you cut out, Mr. Dalton.
Sorry, is that better?
Yes, you said apparently there's a big announce, and then it stopped.
Sorry, I was a bit far away from my microphone. There's a big microphone. The Prime Minister to make a Downing Street statement. I think she's going to say, fuck it.
I've had enough of this.
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck you all. I'm off.
We've wasted months doing this. Let's just get on with life now.
Yes.
I can't remember what people used to talk about before this.
I don't know either. I don't know.
Right.
I think the whole point of it is now everyone's so fed up of Brexit. No matter which way you stand on the issue, you just want the fucking thing done one way or another. Now you don't care.
I think you could be right there. Right now, finally, we've got our boards library. Spark Fun boards. Sometimes you just wonder if it'd be quicker just to design this stuff. It's Brexit or Trump. Yeah, Floating Fat Man, what was before Brexit and Trump? Can you honestly remember? I really can't. I genuinely cannot.
Yeah, Winsome Hack's statement from the PM in a few minutes. I hate you all.
I hate you all. If you think you can do better, then get on with it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a big fan of Theresa May, but she's in it's a poison chalice from the get-go.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's no winning in this one.
No, especially not when the result of the vote was pretty much 50-50. It was, only just slightly in one way or the other.
I come back. I hate Windows when it... No! Do you know if there's any way of stopping Windows doing that thing where it just completely disappears off when you wiggle a screen too hard?
No, I've not had that.
Right, good. That's kind of what I want. Okay, so I think we're back in business, everybody. We're just going to start hooking this thing up now. I'll try to keep... I'll put the interesting stuff on the left because the right bit's just reference material and it's going to be underneath all the chat windows and all of that jazz. Okay, good. Tusk said the EU will only extend Brexit if the Commons backs the deal. So, whatever. Oh.
Ah.
I don't know. Right, so...
I'll tell you what, I think we've had the best Euro Millions lottery winner ever.
Really?
Yes, Aid Goodchild, who won £71 million. He's 58 years old, and he says he's happy to admit it bloody well will change his life.
That's nice. 7, 8... So what other dramas going on then, Andrew? You could do like the news beat.
I don't know. Well, he's saying he will retire, travel the world, and buy a home with a swimming pool, and I can't blame him.
I think
71 million.
71 million. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So analog 0 goes to user port C. Okay. C. D. I like the way it asks you every time. E.
And in entertainment news today,
H.
the 20th Century Fox deal with Disney, where Disney have bought 21st Century Fox for $71.3 billion, has finally gone through.
That's a big old deal, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh, I didn't hook
Weather forecast, rain. We're in the UK.
rain. It's always rain. There were some people over in like Seattle or whatever on Twitter earlier, and it was really hot over there. I thought it was colder over. It's like Canada virtually. So digital 6 goes to K. Digital 7 goes to L. Digital 8 goes to M. M is for mother. Digital 9 is going to B. Good. Right, so that's the main bit hooked up.
Custardo, with 71 million, I'd become a professional YouTuber.
Is that how it works? You have to invest money
with
to
no
make money.
adverts.
So we need the ground. We've got loads of grounds here. Grounds. Okay. What the hell did I do? No, ground. I'm going to nicely hook up these ground pins so that someone in the future will understand what's going on with those.
Retro Tech Ralph would like to know what you're making.
Ah, okay. So Retrotech Mouth, Ralph Mouth. Do you remember that guy? Who was he?
From Happy Days.
I am. This is a Commodore 64 MIDI interface PCB, and I don't know why I'm making it. It's just something that I found, and we thought, let's have a go. Let's do it. Let's do this thing. So user port 2, this one's going to. So we did need some of those numbered ports. And 5 volts is going to user port A. I mean, if we do a MIDI port for the Commodore 64, we could probably just use that for anything, really. You'd buy... Floating Fat Man, that's so kind of you. I would really appreciate that. And that would be such a lovely gesture. A lovely gesture. Oh, I got a question for you, Andrew. It is kind of politicsy. Yes. It's about, you know, there was some guy in New Zealand after the Christchurch thing, some politician or something who said something and he got egged in the face.
Yes.
Now, they were trying to... There was a thing about him, he should go to court for attacking the egger. Now, I didn't watch the egging, right? So I don't know the context of it. I know the background, and the guy is clearly a douche. But I kind of think if someone goes up to you in the street, Andrew, just say it's you, normal person,
yeah,
and eggs you or sprays liquid on you or whatever, I think if your natural reaction is to turn around and just punch someone in the face for doing that, I kind of feel it's legit. I don't know if you. Yeah,
well, don't forget Gordon Brown did that, was it Gordon Brown? Not Gordon Brown. It was.
It might have been one of them, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Gordon Brown. It was the Scottish one. John Prescott.
John Prescott.
Thank you, Winston Max. John Prescott did exactly the same thing. Some guy egged him and he twatted him in the face. And quite rightly, if someone did that to me, I'd belt them one.
So I kind of feel now, regardless of who you are, you can probably twat someone in the face for doing that without fear of court for that particular activity. Because I kind of think that should be your basic human right, to be a human.
Yes.
Who is being attacked. Because you don't know what you're being attacked with or what the background is or anything, really.
Exactly.
I don't know. Is that a
because John Prescott said when it happened to him, he didn't know at first if he just felt something hit him in the head and then wet. He wasn't sure if it was blood.
Unpleasant all round, I think. So what's that part there? There's an IC here which is a 4N28. What's a 4N28? I like this. It's like basically making things without reading any of the instructions at all, and it's really glib. It's the most glib instructions you'll have seen, and it assumes you're familiar with using an Arduino, and it assumes you're used to putting Commodore 64 software onto a cartridge. Yeah. Andrew, you know about that, don't you?
About what? Sorry.
Putting Commodore 64 software onto a cartridge.
Not a great deal about it.
Oh, and it does say here, though, about the sourcing of the edge connector. You don't need the exact one. You just need one that's longer and you can cut it to size. So that's interesting. Okay. Here we go. So it says the MIDI input circuit, you need a 4N... I like the minimum parts list. It just says minimum input circuit for MIDI, and it just has a bracket, a bunch of components, or USB cable. So if it says all USB cable, is that to sort of just be direct MIDI to from your PC? Anyway, let's see what a 4N28 is. See if we can figure out what that is. Blah blah. Oh, it's just an optocoupler. Opto. Just put opto in. So Winston Pack says it was a great punch from Prescott too, worth watching again actually, best part of that election. I don't quite remember it, but I think if it was a solid one, if I
it was a good punch.
I mean, he's a heavy lad, wasn't he, old Prescott?
Oh, he's a big old. He's quite the unit.
The unit. So these
Yes.
Motorola, so this Motorola optocoupler basically is the same as the Vishay one they're using. I think the Vishay one is pretty much just a clone. But I'm just going to check the pinouts. Yep. Do you remember Boomhauer from?
Yeah, from King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Apparently there are people who that's an accent. That's a real accent.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, most of the people in King of the Hill were based on actual people, as were Beavis and Butthead, and as was Tom, whatever his name was. They're all based on actual people Mike Judge had worked with or knew in life.
I was watching Employee of the Month recently, and it reminded me of Idiocracy.
Oh, the film Employee of the Month.
Yes.
It's yeah.
Did you like it?
I think we can all be quite happy Dane Cook's film career was mercifully short.
Who's that? Sorry.
Dane Cook's the main guy in it.
I remember really liking it when I watched it first time, and I liked him in it. I thought it was all right, but when I watch it now, he's a bit caveman-y. Have a look at Employee of the Month now, and he does look a bit caveman-y, bless. But he had
there was a brief Hollywood flirtation with him that he had about 3 or 4 films where he was the lead star, and then his career just went gone.
Gone. He's nowhere now.
Gone.
But he's a comedian, though, isn't he? He's got that
stand-up comedian. Yeah, stand-up comedian.
So he probably has a career doing stand-up somewhere.
Yeah. Apparently he's a singer as well, but
I'm trying to follow this circuit that they've laid out here, and they haven't. I don't think they've done a very good job of that.
No, Kevin Lee says it was an appropriate punch from John Prescott.
An appropriate punch.
An appropriate punch.
I think that's because Kevin is basically, regardless of politics, doesn't like hippie-ish types.
No.
Which size? This has got a 3D model now. Ooh, that's fancy. I don't like putting down diodes because I have the tendency to put down massive ones. Right. So we're going to pop that little diode there. You really don't want to get punched by a flat man, says Floating Fat Man.
Fat Man.
Who would be potentially... Well, a floating fat man might not be fat in real life.
No.
I mean, that would be just a gross assumption. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like what I've done here.
Hey, hippies are awesome. They make fantastic fertilizer.
Now, what does that mean? They make... I'm going to change my nomenclature now so that instead of putting A on that port, it's ground. Ground takes precedence as it's, for me, a signal line, a proper signal line. In the same way, I think the 5 volts is going to be a proper 5 volts instead of 2 on our diagram.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Oh gosh. Kevin says, just because you assault someone with an egg instead of a fist, you shouldn't be surprised if the person assaulted retaliates with whatever they have to hand or fist. No, I agree. It's
Yes.
you see red. You got the red mist, haven't you? I think that's a legitimate thing that humans get.
Mm-hmm.
Like when someone cuts you up in your car and you have to drive after
Oh,
them and
definitely,
kill them
definitely.
and roll them up in a carpet. I mean, that's just what happens. Have you ever murdered anybody, Andrew, and rolled them up in a carpet?
Not in recent times.
It's going out of fashion now. Did you know where I live have been loads of murders? It's like scary. Now, you know I live in Midsummer Murder type area.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I'm shitting you not. There have been loads of murders. I don't know if that's normal. Do you know what I mean? Is that if we're above the national average here?
Well,
we're talking literally in my street. There's lots of deaths. I mean, not necessarily murders, but there definitely are murders in the area. But even in the street, there's lots of death. Maybe even hangings.
Well, when we lived in when as a family we lived in Lincoln. Turns out we had our grass cut a few times by a double axe murderer.
Really?
Mm.
Did they do a good job at that?
He did a good job. He didn't use his axe. He used our mower, but not his axe. Yeah, but he killed 2 people with an axe.
Really? What, before or after doing your lawns?
During the, not like, he cut the front, went off, murdered someone with an axe, and came back and did the back.
Can I borrow your axe?
Yeah, can I borrow your axe? No, it was just around the time. I think it was after he'd done the murders. He cut out 2 times.
Wow. Before they
sort of handyman.
That's scary.
Yeah.
But maybe it's more common than we just realise.
Yeah.
It's kind of okay, I guess, what I've got here. It's not 220R. Big Daddy.
Oh, wow.
Big Daddy.
Wow. Floating Fat Man's Godfather was Shirley Crabtree. Big Daddy.
No way.
That's amazing.
I always, you know what, Andrew? Out of all the 12 people who watch the stream, right?
Yeah.
You know how we're always slagging them off when we go offline, and it's like, oh, that guy, Winsome Hacks, James Baird, Costado, Kevin, late night reviews, rolling eyes. But, Floating Fat Man, never a bad word, I've heard.
No.
Uttered.
No. Not if he's related to the legend that is Big Daddy.
And now, maybe that's why. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Late night
his
review.
dad was a pro wrestling champion back in the day. British lightweight champion from 72 to 74.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, well, I don't know if I can take this. This is too much.
My late grandmother was a big fan of the old school British wrestling with... with the old grannies sat there with their handbags in the front row, hitting people with them, watching the wrestling. Saturday afternoon World of Sport on ITV.
Why can't I type in my own chat?
I don't know why I can't.
I'm not allowed. Late night reviews. I just want to say a shout out to Late Night Reviews because they're right here. This is a Commodore 64 MIDI interface. So it's not my design. I'm just literally copying it from somebody, but doing the layout for it. Now, I want to say something about Late Night Reviews. If you haven't, go and see Late Night Reviews' YouTube website. Hang on, is that what we call them? A YouTube website? YouTube page. Late Night Reviews, please post the link to your YouTube page right there, right now. Because he does some amazing things. Somebody with actual skills, possibly talent even.
You mean someone who makes actual real content?
Yeah, not just gets bored and does a random stream to randos the same
Exactly.
This is how you lose the 4 people who watch your streams, by being insulting. You know I don't mean it. Look at this. You know why? I know why you're here though, guys. It's because you don't want to watch any of the Ashen streams because it just winds you up too much. I'm the anti-Ashen stream. Right, we've got a. I got to be careful because I'm going off piece with this guy's design. I might be making it wrong. Let's label as we go along, shall we? This one really ought to be a ground. Yeah, late night reviews. Post a link. Go nuts. Go. You could go sub for sub, like those people. Sub for sub. The desperate people. Okay, we're going to do a 5 volts onto here. Good. Now, the nice thing about Eagle is when it does pop up and it does that annoying message saying, do you want to connect this? At least you know when you're doing it, when you intend to connect something. If you don't see the message, it raises a little alarm bell in you.
Winsome Hack says, saw a wrestling match while at a Pontins holiday camp. I remember one of the wrestlers, and he leaned over the rope and bellowed at me. I ran off and hid behind my dad. Still a great memory, he says.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
Yes.
Arduino Rix.
I actually saw WWF as it was live once.
Oh.
When I was a child, I went to see UK Rampage in Sheffield, and Andre the Giant was there.
Is this where you met the legend? Clearly, that.
Well, I didn't meet him in person, but I saw him in person there, and it wasn't long before he died. He was on crutches, but he had a smile for everyone, so he was a proper gent.
And I was watching him in that movie the other day.
Yes.
Mark says, we randos love you, Dr. A. Randos. I do like that. I like that maybe it's like, remember Futurama? We're all the mutants under the
yes.
in the drains. I was going to say muties, but
Glow on Custard. I only watched Glow on late night TV. Well, have you watched Glow on Netflix?
I watched Glow on Netflix. I have.
It's excellent.
Has it got, what's his name in it? Mark
Maron.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah.
What's the Arduino RX pin? Jimmy Savile was a wrestler. Yeah. What is?
Tired of MPs. Looking at nothing else.
Oh, me mute that. That's the BBC News feed I just put on.
I thought you had a lady with you.
No. Yeah, Theresa May. Listen.
I agree. I am on your side. It is now time. MPs decide.
Oh, there's no charisma there at all.
No.
Right.
No.
So.
Oh God. Oh Christ! I turned the wrong volume up, and you just deafened me when you spoke.
RX 0. RX is pin 0 potentially on the Arduino, but what pin? These Arduinos, it's not like a real thing. It's not like a real hardware. It says RX is pin 0, but how do I know what's pin 0 on my model? So that'd be also digital. Digital pin 0 is RX. Okay, let's roll with that.
She's saying, I'm sure the public have had enough. It's a matter of personal regret for me. Come on. Waiting for her to say she's going to stand down or something.
So far, Parliament has done everything possible to avoid making motion after motion and amendment after amendment has been tabled without Parliament ever deciding what it wants. All MPs have been willing to say, not.
Sod off!
I passionately hope MPs find a way to back the deal I've negotiated with the EU. A deal that delivers on the result of the referendum.
That's very loud, Andrew, in my ear.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, it's super loud. Everybody at the stream's hearing this.
Definitely. What, hearing her talking?
Yeah, definitely. It's like you do. I'm going to get flagged up by the Beeb.
Let's mute it just in case. Well, I don't think this can be because it's a live feed from the government. So
So I need a DIN. How many pin? 5-pin DIN.
Is it me, or does your wife sound just like Theresa May? Now, my wife isn't at home, and I'm not having an affair with Theresa May before you ask.
Theresa May, you should have stayed at home yesterday. Do 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 do. Do you remember we used one of these connectors, this Hirschman thing, on the Commodore 1541 project? And I can't remember which one we used. I'm going to go.
I probably wouldn't remember that.
Probably wouldn't be the one to know that.
No.
I want to be the one. Right.
Oh my god.
MIDI pin 5 and MIDI pin 4. Chimney.
Did you watch Mary Poppins Returns?
I did.
Did you think it was a bit
it was alright. I think the problem with it, if I were to say there be a problem with it, is that it's just new, isn't it?
Yeah.
It says, Andrew, your audio is actually louder than Dr. A's. Yeah, I remember I said I turned you up. So yeah. Oh, she's still...
I've turned myself down again. Oh, she stormed off in a right strop.
Did you do a mic drop?
Don't know. She's...
James, you say it's 6-pin circle, but this is showing it as a 5-pin here. 5-pin.
DWE92. Hello, long-time sub, but never caught a live stream.
Wow, you are so lucky.
Welcome to a live stream. These are exciting.
These exciting live stream.
Yes.
It's none of that rambling, talking to my hands nonsense. It's just rambling, talking to the screen. Going, look at this bit of strokey beardy every now and then. Going, what am I up to here? How does this work? They have said what pins it goes to. I'm really worried when I see somebody give me the pin, because I kind of assume they're going to be wrong. But let's see, MIDI 5. Spelt MIDI wrong. I'm still watching Benidorm, actually, an awful lot of Benidorm. I love Benidorm. It's definitely one of my favourite TV shows.
I didn't like the later episodes of it.
What were the later ones? Remind me.
Is Mel still in it?
That's season 3, but I don't know how long he persisted in it.
Well, he died between seasons 3 and 4. The actor did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So DWE92, we're putting together a Commodore 64 MIDI interface because we can. Because I don't have the skills of late night reviews, being able to make stuff out of cardboard, I have to entertain myself doing this. Download the Arduino code. Download the C. Oh my gosh! Anybody in the chat? Can we do the download the C64 program and put it onto an EEPROM? I do know there's people in the Discord and in my Twitter can do that, but I'm just curious if anybody in the chat can do it. And by the way, I should post into the stream if it will allow me. No, it says error, try again. I'm going to reload my whole YouTube interface now because I can't even post into my own bloody chat for some reason. What? It's saying I can't even load YouTube. It's like my DNS has gone down. I'm getting an HTTP error 503. Mr. Dalton, what's happening?
Are you using your ISP's DNS servers?
Potentially.
Try setting non-ISP DNS server on your PC.
Can I do that from within my browser?
You have to do it within Windows. You have to open up the IP settings for the network adapter.
Oh, this is crazy, guys. So I can't actually, I'm not lying. Look.
Oh.
I can't actually...
Chat disconnected while we try to reconnect. You successfully connected. That was interesting. I wonder if you've had a stream problem.
But am I actually still streaming? And now I can't tell because I can't read the comments or see
No,
my
I think
own
YouTube
stream.
chat. I think YouTube chat has crashed actually, because it says I just refreshed the page and it says something went wrong just for the frame for the chat. I think YouTube chat has broken.
So Andrew, you're going to have to be my hands.
Am I?
I can't change DNS setting mid-flight, can I? It's gonna.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Okay. So I go to what? Network Manager?
In Windows 10, the easiest way is bring up the control panel. So click on the Windows flag, type in control. Bring up the classic control panel.
Okay.
Then go to Network and Sharing Center. You may have to click where it says View By, change it to small icons first.
Got it.
Then you should see connections. So it'll say something like Ethernet.
Change adapt settings?
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, that's fine. Then you should find you've got an Ethernet connection that's connected.
I do.
Okay, you just want to right click on that, do properties.
Yep.
Then go to IP protocol version 4. Double click on that.
And then
And at the bottom it says use the DNS servers. It probably is using. Okay, so manually put in your top one, put in 8.8.8.8.
Okay.
And the bottom one, 8.8.4.4. Should be able to click OK.
Okay.
Now try accessing Tinterweb.
Nothing.
Still nothing.
Still nothing. Still no internet.
That's interesting. What page should I go to? Google.
Nope, we're dead here. Anyway, I'm just going to continue.
Well, you're still streaming. That's interesting. The stream's still running.
Yeah.
Chat appears to be completely dead.
Okay, let's get that in there.
Let's check and see if you're with PlusNet, aren't you? Let's see if they've got any problems at the moment. No known issues.
Right. Anywho.
Let's check. Oh. I'm not sure if level 3 are having a bit of a whoopsie.
So I think maybe let's have a look at the board now.
Oh. Ah, Zoinks has joined us. Hello, Zoinks. Ah, chat's back. Try your internet again, Andrew.
Try my interwebs back. Let's have a look.
Mm-hmm. There you go. They're all saying chat is back. It's all updating again.
Ah, YouTube's back. So what was that then? That's weird.
I think it's a little blip of some kind.
Would that have been like just up for everybody, all of us on YouTube? Amazing.
Might have been a YouTube outage, a YouTube problem.
Right, so there's our Arduino. There is our general MIDI port. Where is the user port? I think that's on the back of the Commodore 64, just right on the back of it.
That's right. Floating Fat Man says Whitey farted, and Costado says Brexit broke the chat.
I think you could be right. Now, if I'm not mistaken, looking at this looks suspiciously wrong because I thought the Commodore 64 had an edge connector.
Doesn't it have one for the cartridge slot?
Hey Tyler, we're doing a Commodore 64 MIDI port. Yeah, see, Commodore 64 has a raw PCB edge connector, whereas so that part we've put down is technically the Commodore 64 bit, which is a bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to swap that out.
Costado says he's always right and he's also very modest.
Commodore 64. What the hell is that? Expansion port. PLA. Ah, user port. That's looking more like it. Crap. Oh, what? That's not going to be a pin swap. No. Yeah. Bollocks. Okay, can't beat around the bush, just get on with it. You need all the letters. It's a shame whoever made the library didn't make both parts kind of the compatible. A to L. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. And we have, we're using an N? We're not using the N, I don't think. Let's get rid of the N for now. And then we just need a few of the numbers. We need 5 volts ground. Ground is going to A. 5 volts was going originally to pin 2. 5 volts pin 2, VCC. Oh yeah, quite clearly labelled there. Hey Nassim, once completed, would it be compatible with the VIC-20? Well, I don't know, maybe. I don't know much about the Commodore 64 or VIC-20 user ports, but I should imagine they're all much of a muchness.
Well, you need Mr. Taylor in here. He's the Commodore 64
I know,
man.
he would be able to tell us everything about everything to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was it. We didn't use, so we just used B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Yeah, okay. Well, that's looking all right, I think. I'm just counting these up, make sure I got them connected up. 12 pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Crap, I'm missing one. M. There should be one on M. There we go. Just quickly label these up and we can lay the board out. We're done. Go to bed. M, B. It's going to ask every time now. C, D, E, F, oh, H, J. Okay, it's probably an easier way of doing this, but I've never discovered it. L, Grund, and Favav. Right, so I think we can delete that one. Start again. Andrew, can I ask you a Star Trek question?
Yes, certainly.
Are there any interesting actors who did Star Trek but nobody knew it was them?
Well, The Rock appeared in Voyager.
That is interesting indeed.
Yeah.
So we can pop that right there. Boom. Look at the way all those pins are twisted horribly. That's a horrible state of affairs to have to deal with that. So I think our Arduino, if you want to print a case for it, we'd have to put it on the edge a little bit like that. We could put that MIDI port quite closely in. Dead in the middle. So I wonder why this requires you to put the software in a cartridge. That was an odd thing. An odd design choice. That'll go there fine. That'll do. That'll do nicely. Get this laid out. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Anton Deck.
Bit of PJ and Duncan.
Oh, was it PJ and Duncan? There wasn't Anton Deck then.
Yeah, it was a bit of both, really. Because it was a song that they sang as PJ and Duncan in Biker Grove.
Oh, was it really? Is that what launched their singing career, technically? Biker Grove? Backer.
Ah, me eyes, Jeff, man, I got paintball in me eyes.
Me eyes. Spuggy.
Spuggy, I got paintball in me eyes. Get Jeff, man.
That wasn't a real bit in it, was it?
Not far off.
Not far off.
Yeah. Christian Slater and TNG. Christian Slater was in Star Trek 6, Kevin, as a cameo.
Really?
But he was filming something else on the backlot at the time, and they asked if he'd cameo in it, and yeah.
Oh, I think you'd have to, wouldn't you, if you were asked? Got nothing to lose.
So there's a film called Frankie and Johnny, starring Al Pacino and Michelle Pfeiffer. And there's a bit where one of the characters has to go to a door, and they open the door, and they have to look completely shocked. So what was happening at the time that was being shot was Star Trek 6 was being shot in the same film studio, in the Paramount backlot. And so the director of Frankie and Johnny arranged for William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy in their Kirk and Spock costumes to be stood silently on the other side of the door that Al Pacino would open, so that he'd be absolutely shocked when he opened the door, and to get a natural reaction would actually find Spock and Kirk stood there.
Hoo-ha!
Yeah. Hoo-ha!
Got a great ass! I think that's the only thing I remember from it.
That's a different film, but yeah.
Ah, same thing.
You're thinking of Scent of a Woman. With his deep, gravelly voice.
You just reminded me. Who is it? It's not Chris Morris. It's Look Around You guy. Oh, what's his name?
Is it Peter Serafinowicz?
Yeah, Peter Serafinowicz. He does these acting masterclasses. If you go on YouTube and type Peter Serafinowicz acting masterclass, and he does an Al Pacino, and it's just amazing. It's the most amazing. I can't bring it up on the screen, obviously, for YouTube banning my channel reasons, but it's absolutely fantastic. It's like, well, so yeah, if you haven't caught that, go try it. So there you go. That's technically the board laid out with the auto router doing a kind of the best job it probably can.
Oh, we've got a downvote on the stream at last. We've done well, 64 minutes, and had our first downvote.
I've watched the stream. I'm most disappointed. Michael Winner.
Yes. It's too much semen in my soup.
Oh, not enough.
Have you not heard about that? That was the Michael Winner dinner thing. Have you not? You know, he was an food critic.
Yeah.
It was an urban legend that waiters throughout the nation were wanking in his soup.
I can believe it. Default drill size. How big should we make our? Should we try to go 0.5 mil trace? Let's see what will happen. Thinking. What? I think I've done the wrong units here. I'm trying to lay out, basically, anybody watching, I'm trying to lay out the trace, the signals. But I kind of want it thicker. I want it fat and juicy. But the problem with the Arduino, you can see if you lay out an Arduino like that, even if you've got a double-sided board, because it's a through hole, your route to get to your edge connector is actually quite tricky.
Floating Fatman, I've heard that Will Wheaton story as well, that Shatner was an absolute dick to him, but Shatner is renowned for being an absolute dick.
To Will Wheaton?
Will Wheaton.
Really?
Shatner's not a very nice piece of work at all.
Oh.
Allegedly.
Going to get his lawyers onto you if you're not careful. Width 24. What is this? Is this in it's in bloody American, isn't it? $24 mils, please. American. Did you know Offset Bruce Forsyth was a wife beater? No. Did not
Doesn't
know
surprise me.
Did he beat Miss Ford? What's on the board?
Miss Ford. That's right.
Where's my... It's saying I've got an air wire somewhere. Oh, ignore those. I'll approve that. Dimensioning. Approve, approve, approve. I approve everything on this board. This board is finished, boys and girls. So I'm going to post the link on... Let's do it now. Get out of the way. GitHub. Back office show. GitHub. Where is our repo? How do we make a new repo? New repo. What should we call it? C64 MIDI interface. That sounds lovely. That sounds lovely.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Jewelry, jewel.
Jingle, jangle, jewelry. Now then, now then, now then.
Now then, now then. We're getting a bit... I do listen to Too Much Cunt in the Gang, and that's one of his songs. A hardware layout to accompany this website. What I found while in a stream. Do please check before having 200 boards made up. Bye. Kisses, Dr. A. Right, let's save that. So that's disappointing to hear that about Brucey baby.
Yeah. There's a lot of celebrities have a lot of dark history to them.
People, aren't they? You know.
Exactly.
People are people are people. You know what, Andrew? Like I always say, people is like just. Do you? It's like, have you heard people posting on Twitter random things their elderly relatives say? They just sort of say the most bizarre phrases.
Yes.
Rename C64 MIDI. and I'm going to pop up the board file and the schematic, upload them right now. Commit the changes, and that's it. That's how you do it. People, they're a bunch of bastards.
That's right.
Nice to me.
Bastards.
So, there you go, boys and girls. I hopefully have kept you entertained for an hour to just do something. I don't know if anybody is considering manufacturing this board and getting it made up, but it could be fun. It does say here in the discussion about it that you might need to make your own Commodore 64 cart, but I think they're pretty easy. You can buy the cartridges online with the memory on there, and there's plenty of people with flashes who'll probably flash that on you. And look, there's a little bit of hang on a minute. We've got this arse about tit, haven't we?
Have you?
This is to make the Commodore 64 a MIDI like the synth. That makes it even cooler. Do you see what I mean? You actually plug your keyboard into your Commodore 64, and the Commodore 64 SID chip will do the voices. Awesome. That's even better. It's MIDI in, says Costado. Yeah, it's MIDI in. Well, there you go. You learn a new thing every day. So, enjoy, everybody. Bye-bye.